the CFO of ALF offices, and he was CFO Punjaloid Saudi Arabia, Unibet and Readymix UAE, the group head of ERP Al Farah Group, and he has left all that with a very, very impressive corporate practice. Now he has taken up and he is now running a Pragya Bharati, and he is a well-known TV panelist also. He takes a lot of interest and he participates in a lot of debates on socio-political, economic and national, all kinds of affairs and aspects of it. So now we would like to hear his viewpoints on constitution. Please, sir.
Sri Mahaganathapatiye Namaha, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, Sabhaye Namaha. Namaste to all of you.
Namaste.
Friends, MRV, I saw MRV sneaking into my papers and he kind of picked up a lot of stuff and what I'm supposed to talk about. Yeah. So what am I going to do? I'm going to click something from his book and I will retain the balance. Friends, we all heard Honorable Attorney General. He spoke a few words about dharma, about our civilization. But do we really see that in our constitution? Like what MR said, other than the photographs or other than the paintings in that, how much of it really reflects Bharatiyata? In fact, he himself, Attorney General himself said, this is a hash of our 1935 Act which was introduced by the British. So the British thought process was completely focused on colonizing, controlling and extracting from us. That's exactly what we see today. So since the transfer of power, I don't want to use the term independence. There's just a transfer of power, it's the same laws, it's the same system, nothing has changed. If your minister who was born, brought up in your own town comes to your place as a minister, you still see the administration pouring that white piece of chalk on the road. Why? Because the Gora didn't want to come unless it is sanitized. Nobody knows why they are doing it, they're still doing it. So we are as colonized. So the concept of a nation itself that is mentioned in our constitution is confusing. Are we a nation? Are we a territorial nation? What are we? India, that is Bharat. Are you India or Bharat? You don't know. So confusion starts from the basic concepts. Like MR again mentioned to the fact that constitution reflects our relationship between a citizen and the state, citizen and a co-citizen, things like that. So how do we define ourselves? How do you connect to a Kashmiri, a Tamil and a Kashmiri? How do you connect? How do you connect yourself to Naga? How do you connect to Arunachal Pradesh? Why should Madras sappers go and give sacrifice in chilly mountains of Nuke Madong in Arunachal Pradesh? What connects us? That is a civilization. That is our Sanskriti. Does it reflect in our constitution? Absolutely not. Does the government of India or our establishment think anything about the perils of our co-civilizational brothers in, let's say, Afghanistan or let's say in Sindh or elsewhere? Even territories which we claim ours, POJK, do we even bother about talking about it? So the constitution is completely colonized and we need to revisit these things. CAA was an attempt to go beyond our constitutional jurisdiction and we spoke about giving certain rights to somebody else in territories where they're being persecuted. I am a Hindu born in Karachi. I am a Hindu born in Multan. By the way, Multan is the place where Narsimha Avatar happened, Moolasthana. And I want to bring the ashes of my ancestors and immerse it in Prayag. Can I do it? Bharat's constitution should provide. We should stop being a nation state defined by geography. We should start defining ourselves as a civilization. The constitution has to reflect our civilization and not the hard borders. The same Europe which introduced this concept to us has changed and they have created a European Union. But we are still where we are. So it is time that we start questioning these concepts. So we have a civilizational duty to all these people. We should understand that. You go to any aspect, given the time constraint, probably I will not be able to go deeper into all these things. But let's look at rights and duties. MR has spoken about that in his book in detail as well. When it comes to our private lives, when it comes to our Vyakti Dharma, to our family, to our society, to our village, to our nation, we give everything, we sacrifice everything. But when it comes to matters of dealing with the government or the governmental machinery, we demand our rights. We do not express the same duties to it. That is exactly what the Constitution is showing. Constitution speaks about your fundamental rights, but you don't have any fundamental duties. I can, as an adult, say I will not take care of my parents. The Constitution will support me because I don't have any duties. But tomorrow I decide that I am a woman, being a man, and tomorrow I can go to the court and say gender justice or gender right. I can decide what I want. Each day I can change my gender. This is what the woke culture is all about. Courts will stand by me. We know what they have done with regard to promiscuity and things like that. I don't want to go in. There are lots of legal luminaries here. So the courts are going berserk with regard to rights, and a society which is bereft of fundamental duties is bound to collapse the way Soviet Union collapsed, the way Venezuela has collapsed, the way Greece has collapsed, and the way American, British, and other societies are collapsing right now in the front of our eyes. Do we want Bharat to be that? Essentially, we survived these 75 years in spite of our constitution, in spite of the government, in spite of our electoral system. Because we are civilizationally Bharatiyas, we are civilizationally Sanatanis. That is why we survive. So look at every aspect. Taxation. Vaidyanathan spoke about taxation. What is our concept of a taxation? The first person who created this nonsense called welfare state was Ashoka, not so great. We know what happened to Magadha Empire. The nation has not recovered since. Till date, we have not recovered. Whereas our model of Sanatana economy was one of wealth creation. We have Ashta Lakshmis, right? We have wealth. We are wealth creators. We are the ones who created wealth. That is the reason Bharat was a golden chidiya. People came to invade us and loot us because of that. This is what we can even see in Angus Madison's report as well. Angus Madison's report, I'm sure all of you know. At least in the Islamic invasion, we were the number one economy in the whole world. Probably 35-33%. Then initial part of the Islamic invasion, we were still competing with China. But completely collapsed to 1%, 2% after the colonial takeover. And we are still using the same colonial constitution to govern, administer our day-to-day life. Do we need to really continue with this? So let's look at aspects with regard to elections. What is the concept of people's representation is something which we have in our Mantra Pushpam. I'm sure all of you know. Samrajyancha Bhojyancha Samrajyancha Bhojyancha Swarajyam Vairajyam Parameshchivam Rajyam Maharajyam Adhipatyamayancha. So these are the concepts which we already have. So in this you see Parameshchivam. Even God was treated to be the ruler of the country, and everybody rules as his representative. We have tried many models. The Swarajya that has been spoken in that does not represent the Western democratic model at all. Today you are saying whoever has got one vote more than the second one is a winner and others are losers. Somebody like Asaduddin Owaisi with 28% vote share in Hyderabad goes and opposes Article 370 in the parliament. Whereas 73% of Hyderabad probably doesn't side with him. Is this the electoral system that we need? We need consensual democracy, we need consensual representation of people. How do we do that? There are many models I don't want to discuss here. But there is a need for us to completely overhaul our electoral system on the lines of our civilization. Not based on the model which the British had presented, because they were a homogeneous society. They were Anglo-Saxon, they were Protestant, white Protestant. So in any constituency you go in the UK, you will only find the same type of people. Here you have such a diversity. You have diversity of language, religion, creed, whatnot. With this kind of a diversity, are we in a position to really deliver justice to all these smaller groups? Obviously, our electoral system has failed. It is still, the whole system is such that in the next 20, 30 years, we will be like, we'll probably collapse like Venezuela, or there will be demand for balkanization. You from Tamil Nadu, you know how toxic it is as far as the local politics are concerned. So is the case in Northeast. So is the case in many other states. So this is a result of competitive electoral politics, which drives you to be a winner, getting that one vote more.